Bethesda just released a bombshell of information about Fallout 5 in a recent interview. Now, you know me, I never cover rumor or speculation on this channel, but this announcement was so important I couldn't pass it up. Todd Howard recently sat down with the editors of the Czechoslovakian gaming magazine Velvet Informer. In the interview, he officially announced that they're working on Fallout 5 and released some juicy tidbits. The biggest announcement is the game's setting. Fallout 5 will take place on Roanoke Island. He briefly summarized the plot. On the morning of October 23, 2077, the day the bombs dropped, the player was playing with his or her granddaughter at a local park. The bombs opened up a portal in time and space that swallowed up the granddaughter. One of the nuclear bombs went through the portal in time and space and blew up on Roanoke Island back in the 1500s, turning it into a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Horrified by what he or she saw, the player then leaps into that portal and gets sent back in time. Due to the strange effects of time travel mixed with nuclear radiation, the player, upon arriving on the other side, can choose gender, name, age, and appearance. The player arrives in the lost colony of Roanoke in the year 1590, just before the colony disappeared from history. During the course of the game, we search for our missing granddaughter, discover what happened to her, and discover the true fate of the lost colony of Roanoke. Todd Howard describes the plot of Fallout 5 as an exciting departure from established lore. During the interview, he said, quote, "This gives us an opportunity to explore different technology. The player arrives in a world before the Industrial Revolution. Sure, miniguns and Gatling lasers are fun, but, lasers just get boring after a while. We love the way the story turned out. Exploring the family dynamic is important to us. We searched for our lost dad in Fallout 3, our lost son in Fallout 4, but a lost granddaughter? Well, no one's ever done that before." When the interviewer asked Todd about iconic Fallout things like power armor, Todd tells us that power armor is still there, only this time it's made from wood. They were inspired by the classic episode of Futurama called Obsoletely Fabulous, when Bender turns into a robot made from wood. He said, quote, "Don't worry, it'll totally make sense when you see it." He teased that we're going to get some exciting new modification abilities for power armor, including wood carvings and even new varnishes. We also learn about a mutated creature that's new to Fallout 5. The nuclear warhead that went through the space-time portal back to the 1500s detonated and did some sort of magical nuclear thing with horses, turning them into bipedal, somewhat intelligent horse creatures. We'll find them as enemies and allies in the game, and some of them are intelligent enough to join our company as companions, one of whom is a beautiful mare named Mustang Sally. And yes, they are romanceable. This was intentional, says Todd Howard. We do our best to please all of our players, but there are two communities who we've really ignored to date: the furries and the bronies. We expect this new mutated creature will please both parties. After talking about the new setting for Fallout 5, he then went on to talk about how they chose to deal with microtransactions in the new game. Players will be either excited or disappointed to learn that with Fallout 5, there is no creation club. Instead, Bethesda is introducing a series of new microtransactions that Todd Howard describes as being novel to single-player games and should meld seamlessly into the lore of the world. He let drop that the karma system from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas will be back in Fallout 5. The player character starts with evil karma. In order to unlock good or neutral karma, there's a one-time fee of $20 each. Without those options as you play the game, we only find evil karma dialogue options with NPCs. Another novel invention has to do with game saves. Quick saves, autosaves, and exit saves appear in Fallout 5, and we are allowed one free hard save. But any other hard save we want is $1 each. We will of course be able to unlock all sorts of cosmetic upgrades, including new types of wood for power armor: birch, redwood, cedar, each of which is only $10 in their online marketplace. There's even an option to buy a small device in their online shop that teleports the main character to the final boss of the game. It also comes with an instant kill button, allowing us to beat the game without even playing it. This mini DLC is tentatively priced at $40. But one of the most exciting microtransactions we get in Fallout 5 is the ability to purchase major characters from the previous games as companions in this one. Some of the ones Todd said we'll have access to are Elder Maxon, Craig Boone, Sarah Lyons, and Tycho. Don't worry about the lore implications of this, he says. We'll just turn them all into time-traveling ghouls or something. I'm happy to report that Todd took great care to explain a potential new retcon in Fallout 5. As many of you know, players have often complained about weird things in the game, like being able to find Jet in pre-war containers. This, of course, goes against canon when in Fallout 2 we learned that Jet was created by a boy genius named Myrnon. So you wouldn't find Jet that was created in a post-apocalypse in a container that was locked before the bombs dropped. Such is the reasoning. Bethesda found a way to fix this oversight in the lore of the game with the introduction of time travel into the Fallout franchise. In Fallout 5, we find a side quest where we can travel forward in time to the year 2242. We can then use a magical potion created by some of the Native Americans we met on Roanoke Island to resurrect the boy genius Myrnon just after he dies. We can then interview him to learn that Myrnon really didn't invent Jet. Instead, Jet was invented by MedTech before the war, but Myrnon just happened to find a huge cache of Jet. He then went on to pretend that he made it himself. This handy retcon elegantly explains why we find Jet in pre-war containers. When Todd was asked by the interviewer why, if the character can travel through time, we don't just travel to a point in time before Myrnon dies. Therefore, we don't have to use a magic potion to resurrect him, Howard paused, tapped his chin and said, "Well, yeah, but magic is cool." Todd Howard revealed another major departure from the Fallout franchise as we know it. In the interview, he said that he was really inspired by the successes of more risque games like Bayonetta. "That Bayonetta character is really hot," said Todd Howard. "I'd love to do someone like her in our games. Sure, the modding community has this pretty much covered. After all, boobies are the engine that drive mods. But I decided that it was time we made our characters a little more risque. So in Fallout 5, we added a lot more cleavage, extremely tight-fitting vault suits, and many, many more polygons, especially to the female character model." When the interviewer raised concerns about this, Todd Howard was quick to clarify. "Well, our real goal is to depict the human form in an anatomically correct way. Sure, we may be artists, but we're also scientists. Therefore, if you hate boobies in video games, you hate science." And finally, he released some information about the brand new game engine. He called it the Creation Engine 2D. That's right, 2D, which means that for the first time ever, this new Fallout game will be a side-scroller. When asked about this eyebrow-raising decision, Todd Howard said the following: "We were really inspired by the success of Cuphead in 2017. They really nailed the look and feel of classic retro animation. Our customers have sometimes negatively compared our games to the original Fallout and Fallout 2, claiming that along the way we've somehow lost the essence of the franchise. And so we chose to take a lesson from Cuphead and turn Fallout 5 into a side-scroller. It's new, it feels retro, and it allows us to make a game compatible with most hardware, which is really important when trying to get the game to work on consoles." Wow, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Fallout 5 revealed. I, for one, have high hopes for this game. Hey, you know, at least they're trying something new. This game may not work on paper, but you know, Bethesda hires the best people, so I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing. What are your thoughts on Fallout 5? Go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Couple of quick announcements. I turned on sponsorships on my channel here. You'll now find a big blue sponsorship button right next to the subscribe button. I just finished creating a bunch of special stuff for my YouTube sponsors. They get a unique channel badge that appears next to their name when they chat in the live chat during my show, and I've got a selection of new custom Oxhorn emojis. At the moment, sponsors can use these in live chats, like during my weekly show, Scotch and Smoke Rings, and I unlock the ability to upload more emojis as my channel gains more subscribers. So if any of that sounds interesting, you can find out more about becoming a sponsor by clicking the sponsorship button. I have quite a selection of shirts in my shop with new designs every single week. You can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming either a sponsor or a patron on Patreon. But more than anything, thanks so very much for watching. and I'll see you soon with a brand new video.